Hello and welcome to Solent Sports News. I'm Billy Taylor and these are your top stories. Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah has tested positive for coronavirus. Salah is currently away on international duty with Egypt. Next summer, Scotland fans will be seeing their national team play in a major football tournament for the first time. They qualified for the delayed Euro 2020 last night, the first time they've reached a major tournament since the World Cup in 1998. Scotland supporter Sean Higginbottom is hoping for better fortunes than they had 22 years ago in France.
Obviously, we didn't do particularly well then, and ever since then, we've not really come close until recent times. Just absolutely fantastic to see every Scotland fan coming together because such passionate supporters and such patriotic supporters. You know, you see the videos online everywhere of the fans celebrating and singing out on the streets and whatnot. You know, it's just incredible, really.
Scotland will face England at Wembley in Group D. England boss Gareth Southgate thinks facing rivals in such an occasion will be a challenge, but one he will relish.
They've done really well. I think they've got some very good young players coming through, a team that are improving very quickly. Let's hope we're a full house. You know, that would be a super occasion, although it certainly makes our life a lot more difficult.
Staying with England, and it has been announced that Republic of Ireland midfielder Alan Brown has tested positive for COVID-19. Brown played the full 90 minutes at Wembley in the 3-0 defeat to England. The rest of the squad and staff for Ireland returned negative tests. This could put the Three Lions fixture with Belgium on Sunday in jeopardy. The EFL are expected to agree a deal with its clubs to up the amount of substitutes allowed during a game from 3 to 5. If agreed, the rule could be effective immediately and would continue for seasons in the future. The amount of subs to be chosen from is either 7 or 9, but is yet to be agreed. National lockdown in England has had a major impact on youth football. Local club Eastleigh FC are currently not allowed to welcome their youth scholars to play and train. Ben Burgess has the full story.
Last one tonight. Absolutely, the children are absolutely devastated.
Pretty nice. I want to carry on playing. Absolutely gutted today. No, today's our last game for like 4 weeks, so it's just not the best, is it?
For the last week, youth sport clubs in the UK have been brought to a standstill. Former professional footballer Robbie Savage and his young players were just one team forced to close their doors for the month.
And so now is the time to take action because there is no alternative. And from Thursday until the start of December, you must stay at home.
On Saturday, 31st of October, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced a second national lockdown, which meant all amateur sport must stop from the 5th of November to December the 2nd.
My name's Stuart Gill. I'm the head coach at Golden Ring Boxing Club. All we want to do is train kids, keep them off the street, get them on the straight and narrow. It's nice when you get champions. We've had like 50 national champions over the last 15 years, 20 years, but that's a small part of it. The big part of it is keeping the kids off the streets, giving them something to do rather than them hanging around and doing nothing and causing trouble, getting in the end causing trouble.
Current Handball Football Club midfielder Luke Mitchell has also seen his sport cancelled for a month. Reflecting on his youth career, as an adult he feels he's better equipped to deal with the lockdown than he would have been as a child.
It was my life. Like, football was my life. It was 3 or 4 days of the week, and that's not enough for me. That was never enough for me. I wanted it to be 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And obviously, I'm unfortunate that this COVID has come now, not as a kid, because I think mentally that would affect me massively.
As Mitchell states, sport can have a positive effect on the mind of youngsters. Over the first national lockdown, 1 in 10 people had suffered suicidal thoughts. Eastleigh Football Club Academy coach Jason Brooks explains the measures taken by the club to ensure mental stability.
We need to be aware of it. We've had Zoom calls and phone calls with players separately and in groups, and just to let them know that, you know, is there anything we can do to help them and speak to them. And occasionally you get some players that are struggling with it more than others, and with, obviously as they're still young and college players, etc., with our phone calls with parents and stuff as well, to try and, when they want to let us know of things, how some people may be struggling more than others, so then we know where to sort of center our attention, sort of thing.
With 1 week of Boris Johnson's lockdown already passed, children of sports clubs will have to wait another 3 weeks until they can once again return to play the sports that they love.
Right boys, listen, we're all going to play 45. It's about you having your last game for 4 weeks. Go and enjoy yourself, go and express yourself, go and have fun.
As non-league football grinds to a halt, clubs now prepare for more tough times. Our reporter Matt Ryan has been catching up with the management at Handball FC to see how they are coping in the crisis.
And so now is the time to take action because there is no alternative. And from Thursday until the start of December, you must stay at home.
As Boris Johnson announces a second national lockdown in England, the familiar feeling of uncertainty began to loom across the country. And with the temporary pause of non-elite sport, it has left semi-professional clubs at risk to the aftermath of the pandemic. One of these clubs is Handball FC, who compete in the Sydenham's Wessex Premier Division. Having already seen the financial implications of the first national lockdown, Chairman Steve Harris made sure plans were put in place should the country shut down again.
We made provisions quite early on that the new teams would not be paid. So we don't pay any of the players anymore. It is very much they do it for the love of it. So we made sure that we had provisions in place from sponsorship and things like that, that we'd be able to cover any big debts or outstanding bills that we've.
Whilst the club had made provisions, Steve also stressed the importance of fans returning to the ground once it is safe to do so.
We need fans. A crowd of 100 will bring in about £500-600 in the T-bar and the turnstile, a couple of £100 in the bar. All of a sudden you've made £800-1,000 from 100 people.
However, it isn't just the money that could be at risk, but the players as well. First team manager Ryan Lambert is concerned that empty calendars could have a negative impact on his side.
And maybe they're not working now and not playing football, so all of a sudden they've got a lot of time to maybe think about things and not necessarily worry about it, so they could come back with a different mentality, or it could be a negative time where they aren't looking after themselves, and I think that's what most managers will worry, that they come back to an unfit team.
But all is not negative. Having been hit with a few injuries already in the season, it now gives an opportunity to get the squad back to full strength.
We've had a few injuries in our last few games, so a 4-week rest will allow us to come back with a full squad, which then gives the headaches to managers to select their 11 and their 16 for the game.
With this lockdown not scheduled to continue beyond the 2nd of December, these next few weeks could provide crucial to grassroots football continuing to float.
Wales play Ireland tonight in rugby union. They kick off the new Autumn Nations Cup in Dublin. Wales defence coach Byron Hayward left his role last Sunday, and there has been reports of player unrest in the camp. Wales captain Alan Wynne-Jones is set to make his 150th appearance tonight.
We're focused and very clear on what we need to do, and we'll stick to that. As a player, given the tools to go out there and do a job, and we'll do that to the best of our ability with the tools and preparation we're given. When we win together. When we lose together as well.
The coronavirus has put back the Tokyo Olympics until 2021. Matt Ogley looks at how that has affected some of the British diving hopefuls.
This August would have been the height of the summer of sport, a time for GB's athletes to celebrate. The stage was set for another Grand Olympics at Tokyo, but instead, the COVID pandemic put the biggest sporting spectacle on hold until the summer of 2021.
The 2020 Summer Olympics, now the latest major sports cancellation caused by the global COVID-19 pandemic.
Many sports have seen their schedules and qualification turn upside down, but one team that hasn't suffered as much is GB Diving. Julian Bellin, the training and development manager, is not concerned due to the fact that many of the divers have already secured their spot at next summer's games.
The good news is the vast majority of our Olympic spots were already qualified back in 2019 at the World Championships, and we only have 4 more Olympic spots out of a total of 12 to gain, which is 2 synchronized spots and 2 individual spots. So the vast majority of the work is done.
However, imagine being one of the hottest prospects in the team, but also one of the few unlucky ones who hasn't yet booked his plane ticket to Tokyo.
I'm Matt Dixon, I'm a GB diver. This has not just been an inconvenience for everyone, it's stopped everyone's training. And next year there's qualifications, everyone's got to do qualifications again. So everything that happened this year at the qualifications are scrapped. So for me, winning gold in the British Champs last year is quite irrelevant.
What is relevant though is the progression of young talent coming through. And although the pandemic has somewhat disrupted this process, and after missing out on his own dream, Southampton Diving Academy coach Brandon Foster is optimistic that he could hone his coaching skills and help produce the next medal hopefuls for Team GB.
I want to go into coaching and just kind of prove myself wrong and do that with my divers and just be kind of an Olympic level coach. That was my dream as a diver, but I didn't quite make it. And I've got a group of 12-year-olds who are very good, and I'm working really hard with them, and hopefully the plan is to go on to Olympic Games. I mean, a few of them are already on the England talent squad, so I've been travelling kind of the world and the country and coaching already at quite a young age.
As the country pushes through a second lockdown, diving, like many other sports, will hope to get back making a splash.
Day 2 of the Masters is underway. Day 1 ended prematurely due to bad light, and those who are yet to complete their first rounds are starting to get back out on the course. Paul Casey was the overnight leader on 7 under par, 2 shots clear of the field. Jack Sale can bring us up to date with what is happening in the early stages of Day 2.
Well, Billy, it's been a bad start to Day 2 for Rory McIlroy. He's finished his first round now at 3 over par, and he's got work to do in his second round as he looks to make the cut on Day 2. South African Dylan Fratelli, he's had a different fortune to McIlroy. He was an early mover on Day 2. He's 7 under and has a share of the lead, along with Paul Casey, the Englishman. Also sharing the lead is American's Dustin Johnson. He's moved to 7 under par following the completion of his first round this morning. Remember, conditions stopped play last night, and the first rounds are starting to draw to a close now. So if you're looking for English news, Justin Rose has been on the move this morning. He's 5 under. Everyone, of course, starting the day looking to bridge the gap to Paul Casey, the overnight leader at 7 under par.
Thank you, Jack. That is the latest from Augusta. Remember, you can keep up to date with everything sport on our live blog at solentjournalism.co.uk and by following our socials at Solent Sports News on Twitter and Instagram. That was your 4 p.m. roundup. Thank you for listening and enjoy your weekend.